In a world that's full of series like 100 Girlfriends or Girlfriend, or atrocities like Rent a Girlfriend, sometimes you forget that the rom-com genre isn't just anime's trash bin. Very rarely is there a series that comes out that reminds you why you fell in love with the genre in the first place. And even more, it's even harder for that series to usually get a season 2. But that is exactly what The Dangers in My Heart has done, and it's doing it with flying colors. Hi, I'm Bayfond, and look at this. I'm just in awe at how beautiful this OP is. Oh my god. If you want to talk about upgrades, people, this is what we're all talking about. I knew that this series was popular, but I didn't know that it got so big that it warranted this big of an increase on the budget, it seems. From having a pretty bare bones basic OP in season 1 to now having an elaborate dance sequence with Ichikawa, something that he would never do. Yeah, you can feel that the entire faith that the staff has had on this series is increased tenfold, and also maybe like investors' money, because it seems like the budget in this, again, looks better. It looks so much nicer when you're looking at this OP. This being the first thing that you see when you put the series on immediately lets you know what you're in for. Fluff and more fluff. The sugar in this series is gonna give you diabetes, and that title, The Dangers in Your Heart, is gonna become more real in ways that you never thought possible. This OP better come with a legal disclaimer because wow. But stepping off of that, we're finally at season 2 of this series, and it is doing phenomenal work. Season 1 of The Dangers in My Heart was something that I absolutely adored. I admired just how accurate and how faithful it was to the manga, and how beautifully well done and executed every single scene was. It immediately shot up in my rankings to being one of my favorite animes that I saw that year, and just overall, one of my favorite rom-coms that I've seen, period. That chemistry that's so important in the story between Yamada and Ichikawa was just so palpable in the anime that you just wanted more and more of it. And season 2 absolutely delivers. Those high standards that I hold for pretty much every rom-com anime that I watch are met with this, again, with ease. There's nothing that I can complain about with this series. There's absolutely nothing. Maybe the fact that they cut out some like dialogue and maybe some like extra chapter bits, but that's the save on time. This series is probably the prime example of how to do a good, believable romance in any kind of series. It holds every single necessary element for the characters to grow and develop, and you get to witness all of it. Ichikawa has grown so much from that little gremlin demon child that he was in the first few episodes of season 1, because as a character and as a human being, he's probably better than almost any single rom-com MC that's out there. Probably like maybe right next to Tadano, because that guy's just average Chad in any situation. Ichikawa is the pinnacle of the rom-com MC. He's a normal guy that gets hints, understands them, knows how to really talk about his emotions, and knows how to change his situations for the better, so that, you know, you don't end up in those awkward misunderstandings that last for arcs and seasons and years and years and years and years. One of the most straightforward and refreshing MCs that we'll ever get in this kind of medium. Knows exactly what he wants, and he wants to do it right. There's no lying with the family, and hell, every step that he takes, even though he thinks he might make a mistake here and there, he just fumbles his way, in the best possible way, by the way, to success. And Yamada as a character, again, fantastic. Stellar work when it comes to actually giving your heroine some development. This is a character that isn't afraid to actually show their heart, actually show their vulnerability, and be as honest as they can to the MC without, you know, being too straightforward, because they don't want to end everything too quickly. Of course, it's a rom-com. You got to stretch it a little bit, at least. Every single interaction of these two characters makes you think, how are they not already together? I mean, look at this. Right here, Ichikawa is legitimately just another part of the family. The entire Yamada family loves the guy, and rightly so, because yeah, I will always re-emphasize this over and over and over again, that the biggest, most important thing that this series does right that other rom-coms don't do is its emphasis on communication. The reason why the banter between Ichikawa and Yamada works so well, the reason why you care about these characters so much, is because they know how to communicate with each other. They know that if they don't say the right words at that very second, it's not the end of the world, because they can always explain what they actually mean later down, whether that be with their actions or whether that be with, you know, something else that just happens. In the sphere of rom-com anime, it's essentially a superpower, and it makes the series' progress feel so much more impactful and real. It doesn't feel long and drawn out and unnecessary like other series would do. It keeps a blazing speed, and it doesn't try to like lower its characters in any way. There's not someone that's trying to save someone else or trying to fix someone. It's two characters that like each other other and are trying to understand one another. I mean, that point alone is completely hammered down by what Ichikawa says when he confronts this other dude over here, because this guy's my boy. Norio Sensei just knows how to write a compelling story. At no point has season 2 actually like hit the brakes in delivering more and more sweetness to us. I mean, the sweetness has become so abundant that we actually get the whole Valentine's Day episode based on candy, with Ichikawa and Yamada passing their chocolates to each other as though we're not already just riddled with cavities. You just want them to say it because you already realize that they know exactly what they mean. They just need that one last push. So yeah, in terms of the romance department in this series, I couldn't be asking for any more. And even though they take up most of the spotlight, our side characters here, they're not shied away from at all. Moe, again, is showing us why she's actually a vital member of this entire team. Quick thinking, knows how to stir the pot. I give praise. And everyone but she is already aware about how the situation's going down, because of course she just doesn't really realize what these kind of like first love relationship kind of situations are like. Even Adachi over here has a little bit more time with Ichikawa as they're just like, you know, going around asking about what to get for White Day. And every single time this man speaks, I just hear Denji. It just is what it is at this point, actually. And I would say that in a small way, when comparing this to other romance rom-com anime that are out there, I would say that this is, I don't know for whatever reason, but giving me similar vibes to Snafu. You know, Oregairu. Sure, that one did have a much more dramatic tone shift when it came from season 1 to season 2, but I'm just talking about in terms of how like the visual upgrades are like in season 2. And actually, to add on, in The Dangers in My Heart, there's this entire sequence in like episode 2 that just kind of felt visually like Snafu. I don't know, it was probably because they both take place like in winter and it's dark and it looked kind of stormy. That kind of gave me the same vibes maybe, but it's just something that I couldn't not ignore. But of course, Ichikawa is what Hikigaya would love to be. But I'm just so excited to keep watching the series and just following along with them. Just following the OP, we pretty much know where this season's gonna end. But if you haven't read the manga, that's even better, because that means that you're gonna have such a blast when we actually get to that point. I feel like in every single scene, you can really feel the love that the animators have for this source material. They absolutely adore it. Again, whether it be putting their all in the OP, or really emphasizing those intensely sweet and romantic moments in the middle, or again, just adding in all those cute little visuals of Yamada and Ichikawa as they were growing up. Again, those things are just so solid. But with that, yeah, those were my thoughts on season 2 of The Dangers in My Heart, and how I think this is probably, again, just gonna make this and solidify the fact that I think that it's one of the best rom-com animes that I have ever seen, period. But aside from that, what did you guys think about this series? Do you think that this is, again, one of the nicest things that you've probably ever seen? Or is it just some fluff that you just don't really care about too much? Only one of those opinions is right. But regardless, I'd love to know what you think. So please let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I was Bayfond, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.